薄いのアホ。
プリズムパワーメイクアップカードレディー。
Welcome to Shojo Tell, where we discuss shoujo manga and tell who's hot and who's not, talk about themes, and just generally geek out. Today, January 18th, 2023, we'll be shoujo and telling about the series Duklyon, Clamp School Defenders by Clamp, which, once again, isn't a shoujo series. It's technically a shonen. It ran in New Type Comic Genki, but we'll get there. I'm your host, Ashley McDonald, and I'm joined by my husband, Asher Sofman. Hello, Asher.
Hello, Ashley.
Yeah. We are back once again to discuss a gag comic from Clamp.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, as always, we'll do our best to keep this early section spoil free. But again, it's a yet another 2-volume gag comic. So this is a continuation of our unofficial, our official covering, but what I'm designating the Clamp School trilogy, which I don't think it actually is referred to as that in any way. So we'll be rounding that out next time with Clamp School Detectives, which actually is a shoujo. See, we're getting there. We're getting to the thing that is relevant. All right. So I also want to just, before we jump into, I make Asher give a little plot synopsis here. I want to place us in the Clamp production timeline. So this is one of their earliest works. They're one of their earliest official published works. And so it's the early 90s, and they are actively working on Rig Veda, Tokyo Babylon. They start Clamp School Detectives X, the legend of, I don't know how to say it, Huan Yang. I'm sorry. And they put out the short stories that are in Shirahime Sho, Snow Goddess Tales. And all I have to say is that is so much, all happening at the same time. Too much. Okay, so Asher, now that they're doing all of the things, including Duklyon. So we're only focusing on Duklyon. So what is Duklyon about?
There are these two guys, Kentarou and Takeshi, who are Duklyon, the Clamp School Defenders. And they're basically, the easiest American Western world English language comparison is they're basically Power Rangers, but there's only two of them. And they don't have Zords. Like, they don't jump in a mech. They just have battle suits. And there's this guy, this evil group led by a guy called the Imonoyama Shopping District Association. And they're trying to take over the world by doing very silly things, like stealing all the lunches from the school cafeteria. Oh, I guess we should mention the school is super weird. Clamp School is super weird. It's like this whole little city, self-sustaining human environment that is not just a school.
10,000 people live and work there.
Yeah. So that's wild. No explanation is given for this. And it's I think that's a good enough premise. That's the non-spoilery synopsis.
I noticed that you neglected to say Kentarou's full name, Higashikunimaru-kun.
Higashikunimaru Kentarou-kun.
Higashikunimaru. Say it 5 times fast, everybody. Higashikunimaru. I'm already am I saying it right? No, I'm not. But there's a lot of syllables in there.
There's so many.
You didn't mention Eri either.
Eri, I don't want to get super spoilery, but Eri...
she's always there.
She is always there. Eri, so there's the two guys, Kentarou and Takeshi, and then there's Eri, who is basically their ground control, except often she's in the field with them. But she's not technically one of them, because she's a girl.
Because she's a girl, and she doesn't get a fancy suit mask
No.
thing to put on.
They're both
no.
very scared of her, though. They acknowledge that she's way stronger than them and better at defending the school. So,
yeah. Eri for president, everybody. All right.
yeah, and they have this one friend, Kotobuki, I guess is his name. I never really registered his name.
Well, they also sometimes call him Suki Yabashi.
I think they
Suki
usually
Yabashi.
call him Suki Yabashi because they're boys and, like, referring to one another by last names is what they do, except with each other because they have a special relationship. That's not a spoiler.
No.
No. And he's just sort of always kind of tagging along and wishing he had a friendship like theirs. And Takeshi is like, we're not friends. No, I hate this guy. Poor Takeshi is in the wrong manga for himself.
Yeah, Takeshi definitely is super robbed by this narrative. He doesn't want to be here.
He doesn't. He does belong. I do think that we can get there. We can get there. But
we can get there.
Yeah. Like, he doesn't want to be there, but I actually think this is where he belongs.
Okay. So, Asher, am I correct that neither of us had read this before, this weekend?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Did you know anything about it before?
I knew what they looked like.
Okay.
I knew it was a Sentai Toku thing.
Yes. A loving tribute to Sentai and Tokusatsu shows. Well, the most important questions are, did you like it? Do you have a favorite aspect of the series? And do you think others should read it, and why?
I did like it. I didn't like it as much as Man of 20 Faces or Man of Many Faces. I always get what the title actually is confused. It plays its genre, like, so it's a parody of Sentai and Toku, and it plays that pretty straight, actually. I didn't find that there's a whole lot to it, but it, didn't. I didn't hate reading it.
Do you think everyone needs to go read it?
No. I think it's going to be kind of hard to find unless you're cool with digital. And again, there's really not much there of substance. If you've got an itch for this kind of story, go watch Power Rangers. There are some good seasons of Power Rangers. This it's cute and silly, and it feels like a palate cleanser among everything else that Clamp was doing at the same time.
Definitely.
Yeah. How do you feel about it?
I mostly agree. Like, I enjoyed reading it. I thought it was funny. I was not delightfully as surprised by it as Man of Many Faces. Yeah. I kind of disagree in that if you want something like this, just go watch Power Rangers, because I feel like Power Rangers is going to take itself seriously. Like, I don't want that. I want it to be very, very silly.
I see. Well, I think there are other shows that do that, or other things that do that and have more to them than this. I can't name one off the top of my head, but I'm sure I've watched a parody that I really enjoyed.
Yeah. I would say in general, I'm like not naturally into either of these, genres, so or tropes, types of stories. So it's all a bit like, I know enough because I have lived in the culture. Like, Power Rangers was cool stuff when we were growing up, but
if you want, well, actually, okay, well, you could watch SSS Gridman. No, I missed an S. SSSS Gridman.
Yeah.
That one isn't so much of a parody, but it's a nice deconstruction, or it's a nice deconstruction and re-exploration of some of these beloved tropes, and has a lot more to it than this does.
Yes, I mean, I love Gridman, so yeah. always a way to go. Good plug for Gridman here. Forget Duklyon, just watch Gridman. All right. No. Okay. So if you do want to read Duklyon, it is very available digitally from Viz Media. It's literally $5 volume, and there's 2 volumes. So if you're like, hey, I like Clamp enough to splurge $10 on that, then go ahead. I don't think that your statement that it's hard to find even physically is super true, Asher.
Really?
I think it's available. Like, you can find used copies for not terribly more expensive than the initial asking price, but obviously more than $5 a volume probably. So I think it's very funny in the Viz digital copies that the intro pages, like, they're exactly the same thing. I want to be clear. You're not getting a different product if you buy the digital version just because it's Viz and not Tokyopop. They just took what Tokyopop had done and now it's theirs, and they charge you $5 for it. Like, they didn't even bother to change the intro page where Tokyopop's like, we're trying a cool new thing where we leave the honorifics intact. Contact us to tell us how much you like it. And I'm like, what strange licensing thing happened here?
Yeah.
All around where this happened. Anyway, that's somewhat irrelevant, but just made me giggle when I saw it. So now we will get into the spoiler section. I don't think this episode is going to be very long, to be clear, everybody, but we are going to spoil everything in the 2-volume gag manga. So hold on to your butts now. Oh my god. So again, say it 10 times fast. Character discussion. Kentarou Higashikunimaru.
You can't even say it one time regular.
Higashikunimaru. Higashikunimaru.
You can't do it without laughing. Why is his name like this? No explanation is given for this.
No, and they say it like 50 million times right off the bat. They're just like, Higashikunimaru, and you're like, why?
It's very funny because it's, it would be, I don't know, 3 or 4 kanji maybe, but it's super long in English. So it's just, they have to shrink the font to make it fit in the speech bubbles. It's beautiful.
It's just like Kentarou he's the one who wants to be the bride, right?
Yes. So Kentarou is, he's your Genki boy. I'm pretty sure he's the red I mean, they're not rangers, but he's the red.
He's the red ranger.
He's the red ranger. He's just a puppy. He wants to hang out with his pal Takeshi. He wants to say to the world that they are Duklyon school defenders.
Even though they're not supposed
to. His head is very empty, and he aspires to be the perfect bride. It's never super clear how serious he is about anything because he's always on the same level of just guileless energy.
Yeah.
I am forced. There's a little epilogue at the end. We're in the spoilers section, right?
Yes, you can say
it. There's an epilogue at the end where they're young grown-ups, where I must say he must have been sincere the whole time because he's there making breakfasts for Takeshi.
See, I always thought he was sincere about at least that one thing.
Yeah. I mean,
I think he says everything with sincerity, honestly.
He is a very sincere lad. But, like, because it's a gag manga, it is also a joke. So it's like, And, it's not like he actually gave up his position of wealth and privilege to become Takeshi's bride.
No, he just turned Takeshi into his little secretary slave.
It's so funny. In real life, this would be terrible. But, like, in the context of this 2-volume gag manga, I'm just like, yeah, get it, Kentarou.
Okay, well, because in this 2-volume gag manga, we all know who everybody else is, but they're all like, oh my god, the company that has the last name Higashikunimaru, like, how could I possibly run into this guy that I hate while working? Oh no, it's like, duh, come on.
Yeah.
our friend Kotobuki is the evil guy.
What?
In Imonoyama Shopping District Association.
What? Impossible.
What? Even though he has the most distinct hair, he is a
We're not there yet.
member of KISS.
God.
He is, though.
Yeah. He has the most distinct hair. He always disappears right before something terrible happens. Well, something mildly annoying happens.
Something terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. All right. Takeshi.
He doesn't belong here. He doesn't even go here.
He, you know, like, so he's the one. No, I mean, most of half the characters are taking themselves seriously, I think.
Eri is very serious.
Eri is very serious, but it does feel like some characters are in on the joke and others are not. Like, Kentarou is always sincere, but he's in on the joke. Nokoru, the whole thing is a joke. So, Takeshi is not in on the joke. He is the butt of the joke.
Yes. For him.
Yes. So his name is Takeshi Shukaido. Yeah, he's a kendo guy. He's a very serious kendo guy. Like, you know he's serious because he's a kendo guy.
Yeah.
He's the Blue Ranger. He didn't want to be part of this, but he is anyway.
He didn't ask for this.
He's not into it.
He actively says no all the time.
Yes. But he gets swept up in all of it, and yeah, poor guy.
Yeah, he makes far less of an impression than Kentarou
Really?
does.
I had the
Really?
Yeah. I think maybe it's because we have very different personalities, so we notice different things about people. I felt like, especially at the beginning, I felt like Takeshi was kind of our perspective character, because Kentaro is just weird. And Takeshi is the only one, like, reacting reasonably, like, with a modicum of reason to just the bananas stuff that's happening.
Kentaro just comes in so hardcore and is like, I made you a bento, Takeshi. Takeshi,
did you eat breakfast? Takeshi, I'm hungry. Takeshi, I'm hungry, so you must be hungry.
Takeshi, leave me alone.
Yes.
Kotobuki, you have such a great friendship.
They do, though. Well, they do and they don't, right? Like, because actually it's kind of unclear if Takeshi has any fondness for Kentarou, actually.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, we never get that soft moment or anything.
No. But, like, he could go either way, because he's also, like, you know, he's one of those guys where you point out that he has feelings and he, like, denies it and he's cute about it, right?
And he just blushes the whole time.
Yeah. So, hard to tell.
I don't know. I don't think he does. Do you think he was actually poor?
I don't think he was actually poor. I think he was actually middle class. But Kentarou
and everybody else around him is filthy rich.
Exactly. So it's just insane. I don't think kendo is an expensive extracurricular, you know, like I don't know that you can get into clamp school without having some kind of influence. Like, it's full of rich people.
Yeah, clamp wouldn't let you in here if money were an object.
Yeah. So maybe Takeshi is just normal.
Okay, fair enough. You know who's not normal? Eri.
I didn't even, like, register that she had a last name.
They don't say it as much.
No. Eri Chusonji is their ground control and their manager, their handler, and also, you know, the one that beats them up and keeps them in line.
I keep waiting for you to drop the real thing.
And she's a space alien police officer. And it's great. It's great.
She's the best.
She is the best. She's got 2 Sailor Moon buns, and I think they make the joke of calling her Dumpling Head. Yeah, she's fabulous. She's sort of like, you know, typical spunky female, support.
Yeah.
You know?
And she's not breaking any gender barriers here.
No. But just throwing that space alien police officer thing is so funny.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
I seriously just kept thinking of Space Patrol Luluco. I was like, I'm in Space Patrol Luluco now. Like, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And so she ends up falling for Kotobuki.
He falls for her first.
That's true. It doesn't matter.
So Kotobuki Tsukiyabashi is, as we said, the head of Imonoyama Shopping District Association. He has ridiculous hair. Like, yes, imagine a KISS member with one of those, like, side braids, Clow Reed glasses, Clow Reed face, you know, the gentle smile, sort of. He always says he's hungry, and he takes Kentaro's food when it's offered.
Yeah.
He appreciates Kentarou.
When he is evil, he has the biggest shoulder drawns. Like, they remind me of Delandau's things in Escaflowne, but like 10 times as big.
Yeah. It's like Dragon Ball Z on steroids.
Yeah.
He's also a space alien. It turns out he's like an alien prince, and he was sent to this planet as part of an engagement ritual. Was that? Oh, yeah. They take over the planet, and it becomes their honeymoon place.
Yeah. So he's supposed to colonize it so that he can get married.
Yeah.
With his evil, unnamed lady who comes and starts commanding the Imonoyama Shopping District Association on her own while he's falling for Eri, and he's like, who is doing this?
Yeah. So, yeah, it doesn't seem like he ever wanted to marry that lady. And
no.
He and Eri, I mean, it's not deep, but it's cute. So.
Oh, it's super not deep. No. They just insta fall in love with each other, and you're just like, yes.
Yes. Nothing here is deep.
No. This is not one where Clamp was like, we have a philosophy and we're gonna figure it out and hit Suzanne, and none of that. None of that is here.
No. There's even only like a modicum of queerness, and you know, you could shrug it off, but it's also pretty blatant. But it's just so small because Kentarou and Takeshi, like, they keep making the joke that Kentarou and Takeshi in Volume 2 are like becoming less and less important.
Yeah, they're like, I thought we were the main characters. So, you know, it takes a similar trajectory to Man of Many Faces in that regard, where it's just like, here's a heel turn. Like, we're not focusing on that anymore. We're focusing on the cute romance between Eri and Kotobuki.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm down for it, but Clamp, why you like this?
I mean, it's. I feel like it's not that big of a turn, particularly compared to other works of this genre. The heroes don't move the plot; they react. They are called when something goes down, and Eri and Kotobuki's romantic drama is what drives the whole second half of the plot, because the other lady comes in, and we're space aliens. So.
And Eri has to learn that her mortal enemy is also her greatest love. So.
Right. Well, isn't that also true of Kentarou and Takeshi? Takeshi's greatest enemy.
Kentarou. Yes. But yes. And then there is a head general person.
Right.
Who is going to, I don't know anything about this boy yet, except what has been presented in Man of Many Faces.
Yes.
And in Duklyon, but he is going to be one of the main characters in Clamp School Detective.
Yes. It's Nokoru Imonoyama, our resident pretty boy. He is the whole Duklyon boss, so he's in charge of Kentarou, Takeshi, and Eri. And he's also still in 6th grade, so, you know, normal. But also, like, Imonoyama, that's the people that own Clamp School. And he's just having a good time. He's putting random monitors everywhere so that he can pop up and, be like, Agent Perry, it is your job to blah, 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 blah at the boys. So he's always wearing sunglasses when he's acting as their...
And so how could you ever know who he is?
You could never know who he is.
You could never guess.
He is a master of disguise. He could be the man with 20 faces.
Yes, who makes an appearance in this manga.
Yes, they get to fight him. He wins.
They get to... He does win.
He does win.
So they get to... So Nokaru, right here, he was like, we're going to stage a play. It's going to be Duklyon versus the Man of Many Faces for the school festival. And of course, the Duklyon boys are like, why are you doing this to us? Like, does he know? We have to go tell the general. And they tell the general, and he's like, I think that's an amazing idea, because they're both the same person. And so then he also casts
Akira
as the Man of Many Faces. And Akira is like, oh my God, does he know? But he does not know. And it's like, wait a second.
Some detective he is.
Can't
Can't
wait to find out. Can't wait to find out what goes down in that manga.
I am so curious if Akira is actually one of the detectives. Because I'm not sure if he is or not.
I don't.
We'll find out.
Is he?
He might be. I feel like there might be a Three Musketeers thing going on where somebody else also joins. I'm not. I mean, I haven't read any of these.
We're gonna find out.
In
like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So Duklyon is very silly. There are many silly enemies that Kotobuki employs. And they are also silly. Like the sheep that
was the best.
That one was the best.
There was a sheep that was like, I'm wool, touch me. It had like a sign on its tummy, but it had so much static electricity stored in its wool that if you touched it, you would be paralyzed. Like it's a Pokemon with static as its ability, and nobody could resist touching it. And it was funny. It was great. Yeah, Kotobuki was not a very good villain.
Or he was the greatest villain of all time.
Oh.
And an even better love interest.
Yes, actually.
Yes, actually. Just such a soft boy, you know? Like
he really was.
He was super soft boy. Okay, see, okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I'm starting to see that, with a couple exceptions, of course, because there's so many, but when Clamp is writing shonen, they end up like going ham on some shoujo tropes. And then when they're writing shoujo, they like go into shonen tropes. Like for me, I'm still like, X is a shoujo? That's not possible.
X is a horror manga.
X is its own thing.
Yeah. X isn't a horror manga, but I wouldn't call it shoujo or shonen just because it really shouldn't be read by children.
And yet it was run in shoujo magazines, and that makes it shoujo. And
I know.
So I think that this delightful blend of the demographics and the tropes that they like is why we all like Clamp so much, probably, because screw your demographics.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it's not really unique to Clamp. Yu Watase is doing this at basically the same time.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're doing the stories they want, and wherever they happen to get published, like, okay, whatever.
You're like, we'll take your money, sure.
Yeah. And like, again, this cross-species, morality, love, but they don't know it, shows up in this kind of thing all the time, whether it's made for boys or girls. It definitely happens in Power Rangers. Which was...
Are they even cross-species, though? They're both aliens.
Oh, we don't know that they're from the same alien race.
Oh, okay.
Aliens can be from anywhere.
That's
But
true.
yeah, you're right. I don't know that they're cross species. They are cross morality.
Sure.
They are cross enemy lines.
Yes. I feel like I've never thought of it in the phrase cross morality, so my brain is like playing catch up there.
I mean, I did make that up just
Okay.
now.
You're making stuff up for me. That's so cute.
Yeah.
So do you want Kentarou and Takeshi to be gay and love each other?
Yes, I would feel better if Takeshi was just being a tsundere about it.
He's so hard to read though. I don't think that's happening.
If he's not, then I would like Kentarou to back off. Because there's a real creepy boundary.
He's getting creepy
going
about
on.
it, right? Yeah, he needs to chill out. And obviously OTP, Eri, and Kotobuki.
Obviously.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Anyway, okay. So, as predicted, this will be a very short episode about the silly gag manga that didn't go into philosophy. But we have to slot in Duklyon into our ultimate rank of all the clamp we've done on this podcast so far. So we just did this on the last episode, so I'll go through it more quickly. But to reiterate, I believe God tier, Tokyo Babylon. Pretty good stuff that I liked reading. Magic Knight Rareth, Cardcaptor Sakura, Man of Many Faces. I'll even put Duklyon in there because it was funny. It was light. I was into it. Like, we're good. Things I could do without so far. Angelic Layer, Rig Veda, Chobits, and Wish. What about you?
Oh man, I don't remember what I said last time. I had it written down, but I had it written down on my whiteboard, so it's gone.
I know. I was like, Asher's going to contradict himself, and I'm going to have it on audio, and I'm going to love it.
Well, I know I put Magic Knight Rareth first, and that still stands. I don't remember the order I had everything else in. I know that we were pretty similar, except that I feel more kindly disposed towards Angelic Layer than you do.
Yeah, I think we're pretty similar overall. So
yeah.
So where do you slot Duklyon?
Pretty much where you slotted it. I think I like Angelic Layer more than Duklyon, but I'm not gonna. I'd rather read Duklyon than Rig Veda again.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I would go into Rig Veda again just to be like, okay, what?
Yeah, be like, now I know what the whole thing. So like,
yeah. But it's not for enjoyment.
No,
it's for grasping the just sheer size of it, you know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, all right. That's it. We did it. Duklyon. It's very silly. Thanks for listening to Shojo Tell. Comments, questions, constructive criticism, concerns. Need to gush about your OTP? Email shoujoandtell@gmail.com or leave a comment on the episode's YouTube page. We're at Shojo and Tell on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. You cannot find Asher on the internet. He is mine. I also feel that I should plug that you can, if you want to go more in depth in Duklyon than our little silly episode here, you can listen to the Clampcast podcast about it because they know way more about Clamp and the tropes that I was playing with than I do. So, and I listened to that episode twice. I'm not trying to copy them though, so you can just go listen to it. Anyway, are you excited every time you see a new episode from us? If so, please consider leaving a rating on Apple Podcasts. This will help the podcast reach more hearts, or at least ears. Thanks again for listening. As mentioned at the top of the episode, we'll be back next time for Clamp School Detectives to round out our little Clamp trilogy we had going on here. That one is actually a shoujo, so again, we were ramping up to the relevant content. Stay tuned. Until then, bye.
Bye.
Awake! Judgment! Gun morphing!
What are you talking about?
It's what Luluko, when she morphs into a gun in Space Patrol Luluko says.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You'll allow it.
Like, yeah, I was like, this. I don't remember them having such a silly catchphrase thing. They have something.
Yeah, they just
like
ran in.
Yeah, no. They did have a final attack name, and I don't remember what it was. It might have had the word judgment in it.
Away, good judgment. Come on.
Okay.
私絶対に帰るから
Away! Judgment, come on! Fight for justice!